Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. All right, so we're going to begin here with a feel-good article, all right? Because it's been a rough 2-3 days. So I want to read something that's fun and interesting as well. This is good information. So we're going to begin here with this article on the cryptobasic.com. And it's titled, Expert Says XRP at $500 is Undervalued. This doesn't mean you have to agree with it or you have to believe this. We're just going over it. It's good information. I like to read these type of things. I do. I have fun with it. Now, this expert, once again, is Shannon Thorpe, who we've heard from before. But let's learn a little bit about Shannon Thorpe before we read this prediction so we know who exactly this individual is. So the first thing I did was look up the LinkedIn. Now, it has Shannon Thorpe here. It says VP of Business Support at Wells Fargo. All right. Then it says down here, experience. We're just going to go into a few of these. It says Business Support Manager, Wells Fargo, July 2017 to present, 6 years, 3 months. So this person has some experience. It says here also Accounting Manager of Wells Fargo. Okay. Now, what exactly, this is why I want to know, what exactly does a Business Support Manager specialize in? So I looked that up. It says here, what is a business support manager? This is from ZipRecruiter, and it says a business support manager oversees company operations to help keep the business running smoothly. As a business support manager, your duties include analyzing business performance. Now, that's key. So that tells me that this person may have some insight into or have some ability to come up with pretty good projections. I don't know. But they definitely have experience. And Wells Fargo, although they, like many banks, are having their problems right now, they're nothing to turn your nose up at. They've done okay over the years. It says analyzing business performance, managing budgets, and ensuring that staff performance aligns with company goals. All right, so now that we know who this is we're listening to, you can weigh for yourself how much this person's opinion may mean to you. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe you take some of this into account. That's up to you. Now, so it says here, in a recent tweet, financial expert Shannon Thorpe expressed that the projection of XRP to trade at $500 per token is conservative. Thorpe expressed the sentiment in response to a recent report from Ripple that captured the projected value of cross-border payments in the next 4 years, which is always a huge amount. We're talking trillions, which, keep in mind, we've had a reputable individual after reputable individual that some of them don't even have anything to do with crypto, as far as I know, saying that both trillions are going to be coming to crypto. That's number one, because the big money is moving in. BlackRock, Wisdom Tree, Valkyrie, the big money is moving in. That's one. Number two, separate from crypto, there is a great wealth transfer taking place. Right now, what we're living through is the crash, the pullback portion of it. But when everything springs forward, when that capital starts to flood once again, and it will, I think it has to. It's logical. Listen, the damage that's being done from raising interest rates globally is only supposed to go to a certain point, at which I think they're going to realize that too much damage has been done. They'll have to turn on that money printer again. And that's negating any caveat or variable that is a natural bad situation. Let's put it that way, right? That for whatever reason may occur, that may also force them to turn the money printers back on to try this strange balancing act that they've been attempting. We've seen this happen before, but to a lesser degree. Where do you think all that liquidity came from the last boom, right? What was taking place at that time? And then why did they turn the money printer on? And then people had all this money to play with. Well, they're going to, I think another period like that is coming. This is why you have them saying a great wealth transfer is about to take place. And I've read articles like that even up to last week. They continue to talk about this. Big money people. But let's go here. It says Thorpe expressed the sentiment in response to a recent report from Ripple that, okay, so let's skip that. It says specifically, Ripple's 2023 new value report stated that over $250 trillion will be transacted in cross-border payments by 2027. There's that year again. Didn't we just cover an article that was talking about 2027? Something's happening in that year. I think it was in the last video. It says Thorpe believes that if XRP were to facilitate such a volume of payments, then the price of XRP would need to be much higher than $500. I'll say this. I don't think we need the full 250 trillion. I don't think it's necessary to take the full amount. And I'm trying to be as reasonable as possible. If you just take a modicum of that, what does it do to XRP's price, right? Then on top of that, I don't think a lot of people needed to go to $500. Although if it goes there, we'll take it. But I don't think they needed to go to $500, to be quite honest. But let's continue on here. It says here, I mean, to see ridiculous gains. Yeah, people have been stacking XRP for so long. I mean, those who continue to hold it, I know. Before everybody tells me in the comment section, I know a lot of people, you've told me you sold your XRP. I understand that. I'm keeping that in mind. But I'm keeping at the forefront of my mind those who, like myself, continue to ride out until the very end. We're going to see where this is going to all end up. All right, so that's primarily what I'm speaking on. It says here, quote, a $500 XRP price just doesn't seem like enough to facilitate that amount. All right, let's scroll down here, see if there's anything else. It's interestingly, Thorpe's view may stem from the fact that the total supply of XRP is 100 billion tokens. $250 trillion transacted in XRP may imply each token is worth an average of $2,500. Once again, I'll say this once again. We have a lot of, listen, I have to be logical. There's a lot of competition out there. They're all going to get a piece. There's enough money to go around. So can XRP go to a very higher price than where it is now? I definitely believe that 100%. But it's the capital will flow from one asset into another. So there's no way to know how much we're going to take of that. I hope we take the max amount, but I think that even if we take less than this, 250 trillion, it will still be enough for people to see disgusting gains. Keep in mind, also, let me add this in. My apologies. I'm trying to be as eloquent as I possibly can. But this is just cross-border payments. Keep in mind, we're going to be doing bank-to-bank payments locally as well. That's number two. Number three, we're also going to be doing retail payments, not just wholesale, retail. That's what the whole Ripple CBDC platform is about, right? It's now going after that retail aspect. Then also keep in mind, there's going to be a lot of congestion and capital flow from stable coins and conversion of those into CBDCs on XRP or just outright into XRP. Then you have automated market makers, whatever's going to be happening with automated market makers. We have so many things playing in our favor. You know, it says here, however, it is worth clarifying that the projected $250 trillion is for the entire cross-border payment landscape. That's what I was trying to allude to. So others are going to move a piece of that. Once again, like I said, all we need is a modicum of that, not the entire thing. It says not just for XRP-based transactions. This estimation assumes that XRP would completely dominate the sector, which is unlikely. I won't say complete domination, but I think we'll take a good swath of it. That's how I feel. I think XRP can take a good swath of it. XLM can take a good swath of it. Algorand will play. You have the universal basic income thing that they're rolling out on the West Coast now. They're trying out universal basic income, people. They're giving out thousands of dollars, or they're going to be doing it soon. So Cello may play. Cello, one of their biggest use cases is universal basic income. So I'm keeping my eye on that as well. It says, note that, okay, so then Crypto Basic, I think, goes into that whole spiel where they say, you know, but pretty much they're not financial advisors. The crypto markets have volatility. Cross-border sector expected to hit $250 trillion by 2027. It is worth mentioning that Ripple got the $250 trillion estimate from a study from the Bank of England. All right. It says the report emphasized why cross-border payments hold significant economic importance. So now let's move on here to another article. All right. I'm feeling better already. Better already. See, I like reading stuff like that. It says this article here is from thecryptobasic.com. And it's titled XRP Investment Products See $700,000 Inflows while Bitcoin and ETH record 73 million in outflows. There's a reason for that. Listen, risk assets across the board, Risk assets are hot right now, and so a lot of big money individuals are going to look for something that's non-risk. That's why, hence the liquidity drain, right? It's always felt later. They've issued trillions in T-bills. I keep saying this. Bonds. That people are going to go get that. That's locked in. So I don't, there always will be a comeback, I feel, for Bitcoin. It will bounce back. I feel like Bitcoin's going to do great in the future, right? But I do believe, yes, it's going to be a controlled asset. BlackRock is going to dominate over there with Bitcoin. And there's other actors trying to dominate as far as Bitcoin as well. The future will be very different for Bitcoin, but I think it will do well. ETH has a bright future as well, but I think not as bright as Bitcoin and not as long as Bitcoin. It has a lot of competition. It says, diving deeper into last week's data, Bitcoin observed the highest outflows at $68.9 million. Meanwhile, Ethereum witnessed the second highest figure at 4.8 million. Combined, Bitcoin and ETH observed $73.7 million in outflows. Conversely, XRP's investment products recorded inflows last week, albeit at a modest rate. Funds linked to XRP witnessed outflows to the tune of $700,000. The previous data on XRP also revealed positive inflows. It says with $500,000 inflows recorded in the week leading to August 25th. This bullish turn of events for XRP persists despite the legal circumstances surrounding Ripple in the SEC lawsuit. Recall that the SEC had filed for permission to request to appeal Ripple's victory. It says the agency recently cited, quote, knotty legal problems, unquote, for this move. Meanwhile, the $59 million outflows recorded in the broader crypto scene could be attributed to the storm currently plaguing the market. Why are they so vague? Just talk about why the liquidity is going elsewhere. And there's more to come. And this is what they're not telling people. This is why people are not prepared a lot of the time. But we've been talking about it on this channel. There is a mass liquidity drain. Investors are going to protect their value at all costs. Okay? And right now, globally, the economies are not doing well. Now, no matter what the Fed says, because the Fed is still rocking everybody to sleep, saying, hey, everything's okay. But it's not. So not only are investors protecting their value, but there's others who have to liquidate in order to survive. Things are just skyrocketing everywhere. So some people need that capital. They're going to liquidate. They're going to sell. I understand that completely. So there's also that occurring as well. All right, so now let's move on to another article here. I hope you're all doing well out there. It says here, this is from U.Today, and it's titled, XRP volume skyrockets by, I think this is 176%. My apologies, I'm reading it from the URL up top. Yeah, 176% as price attempts to recover. I don't know what it's doing today. I could have sworn the last I saw it was down a little bit. It says XRP, the sixth largest cryptocurrency by market cap, is seeing a spike of 181% in its 24-hour trading volume. The last 24 hours saw $1.08 billion worth of XRP traded as traders bet on market moves. This amounted to 2,278,436,435 XRP exchanged between buyers and sellers. XRP is currently the most traded asset on Bithumb, one of South Korea's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. The XRP/USDT pair on Binance accounted for the largest chunk of volumes, amounting to 203 million. This was followed by XRP/KRW pair on Bithumb, which came in at nearly $50 million. The XRP USD pair on Coinbase came in third place as XRP gained traction on the platform. That's only going to increase in the future. I feel it deep in my soul. XRP is going to be hot. Everybody's going to want a piece of it in the future. It has that clarity cannot be overlooked. I know BlackRock, Valkyrie, Wisdom Tree, etc., Vanguard see that. And they know that the people are backing away from crypto for whatever reason. They're backing away. The people are backing away from XRP. They're backing away from XLM. XLM can definitely play. They're backing away from even Bitcoin. And the big money is rubbing their hands together like Birdman. All right. And they're getting ready to feast. They will feast. It's not even getting ready. They will feast. This is a rinse and repeat cycle that they do every few years. When something gets hot, they take it, they dominate with it. Just like AI. It's the same thing with AI. AI came out and all the regular people were using it and putting it forward. Right. And then big business came in and said, you know what? We're going to take AI and we're going to use it. We're going to dominate with it. We're going to take it from you. We're going to buy up those companies and we're going to put it to use for us. Right. And if anybody's going to make money from it, then it'll be us. They do this every single time. So now let's move on to another article here. So this next article is also from U.Today and it's titled Ripple versus SEC. Law veteran names only reason XRP case settlement is possible. So let's scroll down here. It says, in a recent development, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has taken a significant step in the ongoing legal battle with Ripple. The regulatory body has formally requested court approval for an appeal that we know about. Let's skip that little part here. It says the XRP community has been engaged in a lively debate since the news emerged. A prominent supporter took to social media to directly question Mark Fagel, a former SEC regional director. We've heard from this individual before, who specializes in securities law enforcement. Digital asset enthusiast. He's an enthusiast. I could have sworn he was one of the enemy, but maybe I'm wrong. The digital asset enthusiast raised questions about whether it could be in the SEC's interest to avoid trial testimony from former officials William Hinman and Jay Clayton, who are alleged by some in the community to have been involved in a pro-Ethereum conspiracy against XRP and Ripple. I think the evidence showed that. If they bring, we had some reports that said that this individual was advised that what they were doing was wrong. So, at that point, I don't believe that it's a theory if it's documented and it happened and is a documented workplace discussion that took place about that. But maybe that article wasn't accurate. I don't know. It says, in response, the expert shared his perspective, noting that if the SEC is interested in a settlement, it will likely stem from the perceived high risk associated with the remaining claims against individuals involved in the case. He also downplayed the significance of testimony from former SEC officials in influencing this decision, of course. Right. So I was correct. He leans everything in the SEC's favor, of course. It says, by individual claims, the expert apparently means SEC claims against Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. All right, so now let's move on here. So we have a little bit of CBDC news. Let's find out what's going on here. This article here, if it ever loads up, is from Watcher.guru. And it is titled, U.S. to launch CBDC currency to confront BRICS de-dollarization. I think they're holding back on purpose. I think they want to crash the system, to be completely honest. So I don't think they fear what BRICS is doing. I think they welcome it. The U.S. itself is greatly diminishing the value of their own dollar. The U.S. itself is greatly injuring the value of the dollar. This is why everybody's running to gold. Some people run to Bitcoin as well. I trust gold more than Bitcoin, but to each his own. Some people have both. Some people have some gold. Some people have some Bitcoin, right? Some people have silver. But this is why people have been running to other things, because the smart money sees it and says, wait a minute, the dollar's losing value rapidly. The price of everything, energy, food, is going through the roof. What is my dollar going to be worth? So if I earn this dollar today, put it in gold, put it in, when Bitcoin is doing well, put it in Bitcoin, put it in silver, it can maintain that value. And even some of those experiencing a little bit of volatility, but they hold value very, very well. Right. So I don't think the U.S. is concerned that much, honestly. And when they do issue a CBDC, and I do believe that they will, it'll be more for power and control than it will be to compete with BRICS nations. So now let me read this little tidbit here. It says Michael Barr, the Federal Reserve's vice chair for supervision, confirmed that the U.S. might not launch a CBDC currency anytime soon. I keep in mind, no one has an obligation to tell the enemy what they're going to do. They don't have an obligation to put that out to the public. that information could be viewed as a matter of national security. So they, even if they were in development of it, and we know they've been researching CBDCs for the longest time, they've been working with Algorand, they've worked with Maton Labs, they've worked with Ripple. Ripple is a part of their US dollar, what's it called? Faster Payments Task Force and Faster Payments Council. So we know they've been looking into it, but that's not information I think that they will openly put out there. People wouldn't know until the US is literally ready to release it. Then they'll let the people know. That's usually how it goes. It says the central bank is, quote, a long way, unquote, from deciding whether to issue a CBDC currency, he said. Barr also stressed that launching a USD stablecoin could threaten the financial stability of the American economy in general. This is nonsense here. See, this is just something they're throwing out there to distract and confuse the people. Like, a CBDC would be less detrimental and risky to the U.S. economy than tightening the lending standards of all of the banks, so that small businesses now have a harder time getting funding, getting loans, right? Issuing so much debt, debt-based products, T-bills, T-bonds, stuff like that, to where liquidity is pulled out of the markets, and making it more difficult for entities to play, so to speak. Let's also go with squashing certain sectors, like crypto. So then it chases money out of crypto, right? Which chases jobs away as well, obviously, and then chases that money into other sectors like artificial intelligence and such. I mean, all of that is way more detrimental and risky to the U.S. economy than a CBDC. All right. So that's absolute nonsense. Also, not holding, producing so much liquidity that you then, which is false liquidity, by the way, you then have to remove that liquidity by raising interest rates, which has crushed the banks, right? Which then means that the banks, a lot of them could go belly up. We already saw a lot of them go belly up, go out of business, bankrupt, get bought out. It's all the same thing. Get bailed out, which causes that, but then sets up possibly hundreds of banks to have that same problem in the future because of commercial real estate. They can't move that, right? I mean, so that kind of statement is nonsense. I'll hear it. I'll take note of it, but I don't see that as being highly relevant. It says launching a USD-based stablecoin, quote, could pose significant risk to financial stability, monetary policy, and the U.S. payment system. Barr exclaimed that the Federal Reserve has made no decision on issuing a CBDC, but might consider exploring the option only if Congress allows it. That is an interesting, interesting statement. Congress has been so flippy floppy. I don't see now, and that, I guess that's strategic in a way to make that sort of statement, because everyone knows that Congress hasn't made any moves when it comes to distributed ledger technology. Nothing major. You got a few bills floating around out there, but what has really occurred? What has really taken place? So now we're going to get to another article here. It's from marketscreener.com. A little bit of Stellar related news. This is about Franklin Templeton. It's very interesting, the moves that they're making. Keep in mind, wherever these companies go, they're going to bring possible Stellar products with them. It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely on the table. Now, I want to draw a correlation between Franklin Templeton, big money company, and Wisdom Tree. Wisdom Tree let it be known that they were going to expand, at least this is their intention, their use of distributed ledger technology products. Right now, what they're using, their Wisdom Tree Prime app, is based on Stellar, correct? Okay, Franklin Templeton is of that same niche. So I think that is great. It's a great possibility that they also will expand their use of Stellar-based products in the future. Now, if that is the case, then everything that they do should be observed very closely for people that are watching Stellar and XLM price action or expansion as far as partnerships and deals. So this is what it says here. It says, Franklin Templeton CEO says China pessimism is overhyped. Let's see what they're talking about. Where this leads to. It says the idea that investment opportunities in China have met their demise is probably overhyped, said Jenny Johnson, president and chief executive officer at global investment management firm Franklin Templeton. It says, quote, There is a lot of pessimism built into the pricing, unquote. I agree with that. She said at a session at the Forbes Global CEO Conference in Singapore. Now, China likes to hear these types of things. So that's going to open up a lot of opportunity for business, as they like to deal with pro-China companies. That's number one. Number two, Monetary Authority of Singapore. Didn't we run some tests with them? Didn't we rank pretty high on a CBDC test with the Monetary Authority of Singapore? Now, I know they're hand in hand with Ripple and XRP. I know that. At least they're hand in hand with Ripple as of now. I'm pretty sure they're going to use an XRP-based product in the future, but I'll wait for them to actually put something concrete out there. But nonetheless, Stellar is on the map over there. Stellar's on the map. We have a good relationship, as far as I know, with the not only the Monetary Authority of Singapore, but I believe that test that they ran was between Monetary Authority of Singapore and Bank of International Settlements. So we have legs over there. We have respect over there. So this could be interesting going into the future, in my humble opinion. It says, quote, "You are talking about the second largest economy," quote, unquote, she said. Quote, "You are talking about an economy that generates more engineers than any other country in the world every year. And so from innovation, I think there's going to be opportunities," unquote. Then on top of that, look how fast they're accelerating the acceptance of distributed ledger technologies in China. I'm telling you, there's a lot more to this than people think. And this is why these type of companies like Franklin Templeton are adopting Stellar, Wisdom Tree, Stellar, United Nations, Stellar. I mean, we just keep getting huge partnership after huge partnerships. You think we're not going to play in China? I'm pretty sure. If Ripple can do what they're doing, I know that Stellar can get some legs in China. So I mean, we'll keep an eye on this. But there's more. Let's go to this next article here. Interesting things are happening with companies that are Stellar affiliated. I'm keeping my eye on it. This article here is from Reuters.com. Now, it says this. It's titled, "India Central Bank Plans New Features to Boost Digital Currency Transactions." Now, wait a minute. Stellar has a lot of legs in India, a lot of deep ties. If you recall, one of the banks that we have a connection to that's not spoken about a lot anymore is a CC Bank. A CC Bank has been making moves all over the place this summer. I just didn't cover it too heavily. I'm waiting for the information to accumulate, but you can look that up for yourself, right? But let me read this, and then I'm going to glue everything together. It says, Reserve Bank of India is working with lenders to introduce new features to popularize the central bank digital currency, the so-called e-rupee, according to 6 people familiar with the matter. Retail CBDC transactions are averaging close to 18,000 a day. So they're starting small like everyone else. It says way short of the RBI's 1 million a day target by 2023 end. The features include allowing digital rupee transactions when a customer is offline and linking the e-rupee to India's popular unified payments interface, 3 of the people quoted above. Now, you may say to yourself, what does it have to do with Stellar and the banks that are running some sort of Stellar infrastructure or have been set up to do so? Now, you have a couple in India that are running Stellar-based infrastructures. I know CC Bank was one of them. I don't know if they're still doing it. I believe that they are, right? But remember, that capital is going to flow from one system to the next, one to the next. One thing that they make clear here is that they want interoperability. Stellar has interoperability. Stellar is dirt cheap for deploying infrastructures. We have a myriad of companies they can go through to set up infrastructures if needed. So it says here, UPI is an instant real-time payment system that allows users to transfer money across multiple banks without disclosing bank account details. The sources declined to be identified as they are not authorized to speak to the media, but they spoke anyway. So with these other banks that are using Stellar-based products already or set up to use them, I definitely think that could expand and we could absorb some of that capital as it's going to flow from one bank to the next and into our systems at some point. It's a possibility, not a guarantee. And if that capital is going to flow into us, that definitely can have an effect on the chain. That's a little bit more congestion. A little bit more. So I'm keeping my eye on things like that. So also, let me add this in also. CC Bank, and I didn't even know this, CC Bank has branches and connections in the United States. It says right here from a CC Bank USA. I was only keeping up with the branch that was in India. It says besides New York branch, CC Bank also has 2 representative offices in Texas and California to provide customer services for our customers. A CC Bank Money to India is an online money transfer service for sending money from United States of America to India. Now, wait a minute. Do you honestly believe that when there's regulatory clarity across all of crypto, that they wouldn't switch to something more efficient, something where the transaction fees are super cheap, like Stellar? Like the Stellar system they already have set up, they're using it to some capacity. I don't remember what, but you think they wouldn't switch over to use Stellar instead of whatever this is? I know this is more expensive than using Stellar. I know this is more inefficient than using Stellar. So once again, it's just something I'm keeping my eye on, and it shows how much reach the companies that Stellar is working with have, in my humble opinion. You don't have to agree with me on anything. This is just, that's how I feel. All right, so now we have this article here on thedailyhodl.com, and it is titled $3 billion sell-off event could be coming to crypto markets, warns analytics firm Into the Block. Now let's see why they're saying that this is going to happen. It says analytics firm Into the Block is warning that one bankrupt crypto firm holding billions of dollars in digital assets could trigger cascading prices. I see where this is going now. It says in a report, Into the Block's Lucas Otomuro says that traders are selling their holdings out of fear that the now defunct crypto exchange FTX could liquidate their massive digital asset trove worth $3 billion. Otomuro zeroes in on Ethereum and his rival Solana, 2 crypto assets that make up a significant part of FTX's holdings. Oh, I didn't know that. It says, quote, a key factor behind the discretionary selling is likely to be FTX's upcoming liquidation of reportedly $3 billion in crypto holdings. Though FTX has not reported when they will conduct these liquidations, it is likely that the market got spooked following their recent bridging activity. With ETH and Sol both being part of FTX holdings, it is plausible to believe that the lack of sustained price action in these assets is linked to sellers front-running FTX and fewer buyers looking to buy ahead in anticipation of their liquidation. For now, Otomuro says that demand and supply appear to be clashing within a narrow trading range. However, the analyst names 2 other large sellers that could enter the crypto markets before the year expires. All right, so there you have it. There you have it. A lot is going on. Liquidity drain for a multitude of reasons. So this is good to know, and just in case people need to prepare themselves mentally for what's coming and they're not shocked or surprised if indeed it does occur, right? So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.